Okay, here we go. All right. What's up, everybody? Lino here. We are here in 2025, which means it's time to talk about every single book that I am definitely, absolutely, without a doubt going to read this year. Maybe. I have a full crate of physical TBR books straight out of the library back there that I really want to get to this year. I'm very determined to read them, and I want to tell you guys about them. So here we go. The first book I actually just read was Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I am a big fan of Kaveh's poetry. It has really changed my life. He wrote a book called Calling a Wolf, and it was very impactful. And I'd have to say the novel is just as impactful in the way I look at the world, not only the way I look at death, but also the way I look at life. So if you haven't read this, highly recommend checking it out. Let's see here. Just to knock this out of the way, when in truth, I started this in 2024. I am hoping to finish it in 2025. It is quite gargantuan in nature, but I am enjoying it so far, about halfway through. This is a tall task, but one I'm enjoying very much. I have talked a lot about the Cosmere on here. The Stormlight Archive is one of my favorite series. It's very sad to see this portion of the series come to an end, but I think it's going to conclude in a strong spot. So excited to find out what happens in the rest of that story. We can go, this I just got from Barnes & Noble the other day, the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This is a book that is always recommended as far as one of the best fantasy novels out there. When it comes to a series that people are just absolutely obsessed with, I think this is the start to one of them. I really don't know much about this book at all. The title isn't really giving away stuff. I'm from a world where there's only 4 seasons, so I can't really imagine what a 5th season is going to be. So I am highly anticipating figuring out what that is. I gotta find a place to put these books. I can't reach all the way over there. Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa. Very excited to check out this little novella. Should be a good way to cap off the month of January. The other 3 books I'm planning on reading this month as well are either large or heavy, and so this will be a nice little palate cleanser at the end of the month. Next we have The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. East of Eden by John Steinbeck is actually probably my second favorite book of all time, and I really haven't read much else of Steinbeck besides like Of Mice and Men. This is clearly one of his better novels. It's very well talked about in literary spaces, but I don't know much about it at all, so this is something I got to tap into, and I'd like to read it relatively soon. This was on the top of the pile, so that's the book that's next. The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I hear that this book is insane. I think there's dragons. I think they're very mad, and I think the action starts, apparently, if this is the front of the book, the action starts like somewhere right here, and then just keeps going through the rest of it. That's kind of how the book's been described to me. I'm excited to see how that plays out. I think I'm missing one of these books. What is this? This is the Singing Hills cycle. I think I'm missing one of the books, but that should also be in here somewhere. Oh no, it's hiding inside another book. That explains it. Boom! All 4. I'm going to read all 4 of these novellas. I have had this on my bookshelf for a very long time. I love the covers of these. I'm a big judge a book by its cover guy. I don't care. But these look awesome, and they make me want to read them. And the design, if it's anything like the literature within it, I am going to be very happy. So, hey, here we go. A lot of my friends in the book space are going to be mad at me for this, but I still haven't read Jade City by Fonda Lee, and I really need to before people find out. So that is on the list. It's going to be towards the front of the year, I hope. I have heard only great things about this. Really haven't met anyone who didn't like the book at the very least. Many people that I talked to, this is one of their favorite novels. So this one has a lot of expectations to live up to, but I believe in it. I do. I have faith in this book. My brother actually got me this book, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This is another novel and a series that I've only heard amazing things about. They killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. I'm sold. That's what it says. That's all it says. It's not like a big long blurb. It says, look, these things happened and we got to get to it. So I am very interested to see what happens in this novel, and I want to find out what the heck is going on. So reading this one, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I'm telling you guys I'm going to read Ulysses by James Joyce. I'm probably not going to read Ulysses by James Joyce, but this book looks at me from the shelf like the Green Goblin mask every year. It's like, read me, coward. I'm like, no, I can't read you. I gotta get through this book eventually. I read a bunch of James Joyce a few years ago. I actually like his work, but I just have not gotten the confidence to tackle this bad boy. So Ulysses by James Joyce. We'll see what happens. The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. I read The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne last year with my book club. We all loved it. I loved it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. And then I never read the rest of the series. I could not tell you why. I don't know why that happened. But I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to read this book. And then I'm going to read the next book. I'm going to read all 3 books. Speaking of series that I started, loved, and just decided not to keep reading, Howling Dark, Christopher Rocko. So excited for the rest of this series, but you would not think so, given that I read the first book and then just put down the series forever. The first book was incredible. I read actually like the first, 60 pages of this, and I was like, this is awesome. And then for some reason, I just put it down and just never looked back. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I like to rob myself of good things that I enjoy doing. But sometimes you just self-sabotage like that. But I'm here to fix my ways in 2025. I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to like it, I think. Towards the bottom of the box here, a few novellas that I plan on reading. Martha Wells' All Systems Red. I think this is a Murderbot series, the Murderbot Diaries. I'm interested to read a sci-fi novella. I feel like all the sci-fi I've read are like these big, huge books with all this futuristic world building. I'll be interested to see how this story is set up and how the new technologies and all the things go on are set up without really having to dive into that much world building. I think this is the first book of many within this series, so I anticipate maybe it all gets built out throughout these different novellas, and I still get that same feeling at the end of it that I do from some of my favorite sci-fis. We'll find out. The Lies of the Ejungo by Moses Ose Utomi has been on my shelves for a while. I made a promise to Michael Kiss like 8 months ago that I was going to read this book and finish it. And again, I just didn't do that. But I want to. So I will. This book's getting read, Mike. It's getting read. These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacob. This book is a book I randomly picked up at Barnes & Noble one day. I just saw it and I said, I want to read that. And then it sat collecting dust on my shelves all year. I'm going to remedy that as well. I'm going to read this book. I had one person in my comments from a video I posted the other day about how I was looking for a book that I was really going to be obsessed with. And this is one of the unique recommendations I got on that video. So it did bring this back to mind. I remembered, oh, I own that book and I haven't read it. So I've really just been robbing myself of the experience I've been looking for all this time. We got a little bit of V.E. Schwab in the building. We got Vicious and we got A Darker Shade of Magic. That is not focusing. Boom, baby. Still not focusing. Boom, A Darker Shade of Magic. Both of these books. I started this one actually last year sometime, but I was like reading 2 or 3 different books at the same time and I just could not get my brain to focus at all. So I want to get back to this because the premise of this one is kind of crazy. I feel like they're going to invent superpowers and things are going to go wrong, which reminds me of a movie I really love. I can't remember what it's called, but essentially these like college kids get these superpowers and then one of them, peels a spider apart and becomes a really bad guy. And they all have to, fight about it. It's a lot going on and I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, but I'm excited to read this book, as well as this one. 2 guys with really cool coats going on these covers, though. I don't know if these are connected in any way, but V.E. really has a good grasp on, characters with white hair and cool jackets. So that's a great thing to be a master of. Great thing to be a master of. We only got 2 more books in here. I have actually completely lost count of how many books this is. I gotta throw in my trusty dusty romance book for the year. The 7 Year Slip is another book that's been on my shelves for a while. People love this book. I need a good romance every once in a while. So that's what this is doing here. If you guys have some other romance books I need to read instead of this, let me know. But I think this one's gonna be good. I think I'm really gonna like it. And I hope it's not too sad. Last but not least, I have Andy Peliquin's Dark Blade Assassin. Andy sent me this book last year and I just have never gotten around to read it. And honestly, I love this cover. There's something about dual wielding weapons. Like having 2 weapons is the coolest thing you could be. People think having 1 weapon is like cool. Imagine if you had 1 weapon and then you had another weapon also on top of that. And this guy has 2 of them. So I'm interested to see what the heck is going on with him. Why is he so good that he can hold two blades? And is he going to survive? What the heck is going on? Is he the Darkblade assassin? I'm assuming so, but that's without having read anything about this book. We'll see who this guy is, what this book's about, and we'll find out what the heck is going on. That's pretty much the goal of 2025. What the heck is going on in all these books that everybody is talking about? I am through with my list. My cart is nice and empty. There are no more books in there. It's just the ones I showed you, and that is the plan. I'm not reading any other books. I'm definitely not going to go to the store and buy new books or get books mailed to me by friends or, see some stuff on my shelves back there that I didn't include in this video and decide that it should have been in this video. Those are things I'm not doing. I'm not going to read those books. I'm reading these books right now. And that's what I'm going to read for 2025. And I'm not going to stray. I am going to stick to the plan. Hopefully. But that's the plan for 2025. Those are the books we have lined up for this year. If you guys have read any of these books, feel like I definitely need to read them sooner than others, or if you read them and said you really shouldn't waste your time on that, let me know in the comments. If you guys are going to try to convince me to read other things this year, I guess you can try. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to read these books like I said I would. But if you were going to try to convince me of another book that I need to read, please feel free to share your recommendations in the comments as well. Thank you guys for your time today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great year, and happy reading.